This is Byron Lazine and Nicole White, and you are tuned into episode 253 of The Real Word.
Word is up.
Last show of 22, Nicole. How do you feel?
I
How do you
feel
feel after the holiday?
I feel great after the holiday. I feel like I slayed Christmas, so I'm feeling like relieved. So I'm
Yeah, I mean,
excited. Yeah,
I
feel
like that
good.
it's over too, and now we can just get into, I like
Work?
normalcy. I like the routines,
Yeah.
and today is a reminder of our new normal. Racket
Yep.
number one, the Case-Schiller data is out. It just hit this morning, so we've
Just
got
hit.
like in a week of low news, we have news breaking this morning. All right, so I'm actually going to go over to, and we'll link up his entire text thread or maybe
Hmm.
his Twitter profile. This is a Twitter follow I would encourage anybody on Twitter to do today if you're not already doing, which would be follow Lance Lambert at
I'll follow him
News
right now.
Lambert. Uh,
Just did it.
yeah, good. Nicole is
Yep.
following
I'm
now.
in.
He's at Fortune Magazine. In his bio, it says housing is the business cycle. He covers housing better than almost anyone I've seen on Twitter. So it's a great follow. This morning, as the Case-Shiller news was coming out, his first tweet started the day with a new CoreLogic U.S. home prices will be negative on a year-over-year basis by Q2 2023. We can also link up the Market Watch article, which says home prices fall for the fourth month in a row in October, according to this Case-Shiller index, which was released this morning. Let's go
Mhm.
through some more and let's show the chart here
There's so
for
many
the
charts.
2007, 2008, 2009, and 2022 tweet that Lance sent out this morning. So 27, 28, 29, and then 2022, years that have seen U.S. home prices as measured by Case-Shiller decline by plus 2% in a 4-month window. Okay, so you see that there are 3 years consecutively where home prices have declined by plus 2% in a 4-month window. Those all happened in 2007, 2008, 2009, understandably so. And then it hasn't happened again until just this year, where we saw, which I just referenced according to Market Watch and Case-Shiller, this 4-month drop in home values. Okay. I subtweeted that and said, quote tweeted that rather, and said you will not see a 3-year run this time. Okay, so a little prediction here for the next couple of years. We've got it in 2022. We'll probably see a 4-month run in 23. I don't expect it to be a 3-year run like we saw in 2007, 2008, 2009. I think somewhere in 2003, values and maybe even as early as the middle of 2003 you're going to see some kind of a bottom and bounce back. That would just be my thoughts based off of, we still have no indications of inventory coming back. Let's get back to some of these tweets. At its June 2022 peak, the pandemic housing boom saw U.S. home prices rise 41.4%. The 2.4% dip between June 22 and October 22 brings total pandemic housing boom gains to 38.1% through June 22. U.S. home prices, as measured by the Case-Shiller National Home Price Index, were up 9% in 2022. Through October 22, total gains have slipped to 6.5%. So year over year, we're still up, Nicole.
We're definitely up still. Yeah.
All right, let's go to his last, or one of his last tweets here. New U.S. home prices, as measured by Case-Shiller again, are negative 2.4% since June 2022. So right now, seasonally adjusted since June, we are in the negatives. This is nationally. Your market might be different. Let me know in the comments where your market is sitting as it relates to home values. And let's just do exactly what we just read here. Like in the comments, let me know from June. Okay. So maybe the end of June, from July 1, the second half of the year. All right, this is the second biggest home price correction of the post-World War II era, this one that he's referencing here from June 2022. It tops the negative 2.2% between May of 1990 and April 91. However, remains far below the 26% drop between 2007 and 2012. Yeah, I would say 2.2%, 2.4 right now, 2.2 in the 90s is nothing like 07 and 12, which was
No.
26% drop. Okay. The reason a negative 2.4% national dip counts as the second biggest home price correction of the post World War II era is nominal home price dips are rare nationally. Okay. So obviously, again, in your market, they may not be that rare. It may be different depending. Maybe you're in a military based market. Maybe you're in, an oil based economy, and things can fluctuate based off of that. A 4-month negative 2.4% dip comes out to a 7.37 annualized pace. So if this continues from June to June, we will see about an 8% drop, just under an 8% drop in home values. Nicole, that would mean that essentially the previous 12 months rather would be completely erased in many markets. I know there are states in the Northeast that saw just about an 8%, 6 to 8% increase the last 12 months, right? Some of those 20% gains, when we look back on 12 months, have been long gone here,
Right.
for some time. Nicole, what sticks out to you here with these national numbers as Case-Schiller? And listen, the reference in October, so I think we're still going to see, a continuum as we get into January and February and March of declining data. What sticks out to you on Case-Schiller's index today?
There's a lot. I'm really trying to go through all of his tweets. I mean, he's pinning a few on here that I guess I don't know. Maybe I'm still feeling like sort of wildly optimistic too.
Maybe too optimistic.
I think maybe I am, because I hear 2%, and again, we always talk about healthy markets. I'm never really worried about a 2 or a 3. I'm never really worried until it gets over up or down by 5s. But it's all very interesting to see. Again, especially when he draws these changes out over the years. I definitely something to keep your eye on and to certainly read through. I'm still trying to be wildly optimistic here. I think, especially in our market, our inventory is still so low. So it's hard for me to sort of wrap my brain around prices going down until I start seeing inventory a little bit more. But again, I do think that it is something to definitely watch.
My optimism for the real estate market stops, or let me rephrase that. My optimism for the real estate market, I think, is abundant, but it stops when you make comparisons to 2007, 2008, 2009. If that makes sense, I think there's, or rather better put, because I think I misspoke that as well.
A little bit.
My optimism goes up.
Yep.
When comparisons of 2007, 2008, 2009 come around.
Yeah.
Because I think there is absolutely no comparison.
There is no comparison.
So my long-term, my 3-year outlook, my 5-year outlook, my 7-year outlook on real estate and the prices, the home values, is really strong. My optimism of the next 12 months, the next 18 months, depending on the market, isn't that strong. Okay. So I do believe we're going to continue to see, like I've been calling for 12 months, maybe the best prediction of 2022 is my Cold War prediction, because it is happening. November saw a 35% drop nationally in sales. There are a lot of agents that are feeling it with their pending sales in December, and they're going to feel it with their commission checks in January and February, because they're going to be non-existent for a lot of agents, because they're cashing in checks now, November, December, for the work they did 6 months ago. And they're going to feel the pain of the lack of deals in what we had in November and what we're seeing in December, where there is a cliff happening in the amount of transactions that are happening. The really strong agents are scooping up what is out there. The cream is rising to the top as we go into 2023. That trend will continue. But when I see these comparisons, and I love the tweet where it shows 2007, 2008, 2009, 2022, I have strong optimism when comparing to those markets. Those drops were 25% plus in home values.
Yeah.
We won't see a 25% plus in home value. There's absolutely, in my viewpoint of the future, no way we get to that. To your, credit, Nicole, you mentioned inventory. Inventory is still dramatically low in
Yeah.
comparison to, the pre-pandemic boom. We also just,
Well, and again,
I,
prices were plummeting in '08 too because there was so much inventory. I mean,
yeah,
it was like saturated with shit like that year. So and it actually even up here went up until almost 2012 too. It was just, there was just so much stuff. And right now there's barely anything. And like, again, to what you're saying too, it's that Cold War, or the rates and then what they bought it for. And they want to move up, but like they can't because they refinanced at 2 and now it's at, like a 6. So it's
yeah.
definitely a
And
different environment.
the Fed's doing everything they can to fight inflation, but when you borrow as much money as the US government does, and you're in debt as much as we are as a nation, it's inevitable that inflation is going to be a long-term thing that we deal with. I mean, even when they get this current, exorbitant inflation under control, we're still going to see inflation across assets for a long time. Just there's no other way out of the amount of debt that we have, the amount of money printing that we do as a nation. And so home values, in my opinion, will not plummet. There's very low likelihood of that happening. Put some good data here. I just want to shout out the Twitter handle at News Lambert once again, because great follow, and he's up to the minute. I mean, this Case-Schiller came out 9 a.m. this morning, if you're seeing this pod when it was released.
Yeah.
And he's got tweets coming out about it just minutes later. So he's on it. And, some things to think about. I don't believe the news, the data is going to be in the favor over the next couple months, which means you really got to look closely, compare that stuff to your local market. Nicole brought up the point about, our local market, is much different from, say some of the West Coast markets where they're
Yeah.
seeing a over 10% drop in values in certain markets right now.
Yeah.
So market to market is going to be wildly different. All right, racket
Oh,
number
for
2.
sure. But again, the East Coast always needs to look at the West Coast for sure.
Yeah, for what's coming. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, racket number 2, BAM article. We'll link this up below. These market trends aren't making it to 2023. So this is a HubSpot report. They revealed 5 marketing trends that are rapidly losing steam. All right, so let's go through the 5 trends and we'll comment on each one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1 trend that will not make it to 2023, celebrity endorsements. Brand deals with high profile celebrities were once an effective marketing strategy for businesses. However, a HubSpot study found that while general trust in celebrity endorsements is waning, the public is still receptive to endorsements from micro influencers
Mm-hmm.
that have a smaller following than traditional celebrities, but a highly engaged audience. Okay, so I'm glad HubSpot made that delineation
I
because
am too.
I'm with them, right? Where you just have some celebrity hawking any old product, right?
Yeah.
Like, you have a comedian hawking makeup. It's like, well, the audiences don't align there. But when you have these micro, people that, have
Influencers.
a real brand online, and it has to be a highly engaged audience. It can't just be an audience. It's got to be a highly engaged audience.
Right.
They can impact the awareness of a product and certainly the conversions of those products. So I think generally speaking, let's relate this to an agent's business in their local market. You'd be hard pressed to find a local celebrity that's going to make an impact on how many buyers and sellers that you work with. And you
Mm-hmm.
got to think about those, advertising relationships as just more awareness on your brand overall. But I probably wouldn't put too much money into that with everything going on in 2023.
No, but I think what there is an incredible opportunity here that maybe that agent can become the micro influencer. Get your audience engaged and start showing some value what is going on, not just in the market, but like to where to get things. Or again, especially in Connecticut right now, they're talking about, electrical prices going up. Like I think you have an opportunity right now to be that micro influencer for sure, especially if
Yeah.
they're saying that that's where it's all going. But yeah, no, I think KK is out. I get influenced regularly on Instagram. It's definitely not from
It's
a
from
big
the smaller
celebrity.
ones more than
Oh, for
likely.
sure.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
They're more,
100%.
more authentic, which leads into the number 2 here, curated Instagram feeds. Authenticity is back. Heavily filtered Instagram posts and the perfect feed are a thing of the past. Yeah, so I love this because, I've been talking about this probably all year when marketing comes up. Like, stop with the Instagram feed that looks like 50 or 60% of all other agents, where it is just Canva and it's just the same thing over and over and over again.
Mhm.
Pretty doesn't convert. So many agents are trying to make pretty what their eyeball says is pretty on a piece of mail or on an Instagram post, oftentimes just looks generic,
Right.
doesn't make an impact, lacks a hook. You know what works is something that hooks the attention, whether it's pretty or just down and dirty to the facts, whether that's direct mail, physical, paper, or a post on Instagram. Just get down and dirty and have a great hook to your marketing. That's how you're going to convert in 2023. Right now, you don't have to go out and, I don't know, what would you call it? Just like, Canva washing your posts. You don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah. Or again, there's so many, I feel like, online resources that are making posts for you. So you and
Ugh.
probably 50,000 other agents are posting the same exact thing to their feed. Yeah, no, I agree with you. Authenticity is definitely, and again, it goes back to the whole micro influencer. Like, show your messy house maybe while you're like, just become real. Be you for sure.
Yep, that's going to win big in 23. Okay, so here's one that HubSpot says will not be around in 23. Audio spaces. So in 2020, when so many were looking for connection, audio only chat rooms like Clubhouse and Twitter
I feel
Spaces
like
became.
Clubhouse died as quickly as it arrived.
It
Didn't that
did,
already? Yeah. I
it
mean,
did, and it that was something that I was pretty passionate about. Clubhouse isn't going to make it. I don't know if we can clip that out and.
no, I do, but I do remember. I feel like we were live on one real word, and you got sucked in, and I think I lost you for maybe 2 or 3 days. You
I
were
mean,
bouncing around those Clubhouse groups,
well,
and
I spent about 48 hours checking out Clubhouse,
yes,
and I did say, okay, this is like something. I always bring up Meerkat. Nobody knows what the heck Meerkat is, but
mm-mm,
it was very similar to me, to in some ways. You didn't have this group speaker thing, so Clubhouse is definitely different. But I had no thoughts of Clubhouse
no,
sticking around.
no,
Twitter Spaces, I'm going to disagree with HubSpot. Twitter Spaces is actually rocking and rolling right now because Twitter is going to be the social platform of 2023. Twitter coming out with all these new features. I mean, Twitter is the place to be right now. I'm sorry, it just is. I know for real estate agents, it's going to be, about the gram, and I don't think that's going to stop for your local influence. But Twitter's the place that news is breaking. It's where you can get a lot of information, and if you want some of these, some of these really smart people to comment on breaking news, Twitter Spaces is where it's happening a lot of times. So I think there is a place for Twitter Space. Clubhouse has always been a feature more than a platform to me, and
yeah,
Twitter going with Twitter Spaces is probably proven that to be true. But I think Twitter Spaces will have some validity in 23. I wouldn't go trying to create a Twitter space for your local market on Twitter. I don't think that's going to be, a play for agents. Okay.
okay.
Um,
Next one.
Long form videos. Okay. I don't agree with this at all. I'm calling racket on this one. People have been rooting against the long form video for a decade and a half now. And every single year it proves to be of high value. I mean, this was the year of the clips. This was the year of the podcast clip for
Mm-hmm.
sure. And that all stems from long form video. You have to have the long form video before you can have the authentic 30, 60-second clip pulled out of that conversation. So it references TikTok Reels, TikTok's Reels and Shorts are dominating. So they're saying long form video should be put in the back burner. No, I mean, this is how you generate those clips. Okay. And we do mention that in the article. 96% of marketers agree that a length of a marketing video should stay under 10 minutes. I think there's some validity to that. Like if
Mm-hmm.
you're just trying to produce a video, 8 to 10 minutes is a sweet spot. I don't know. What do you consume, Nicole? A lot of 8 to 10 minute videos, a lot of 30-second videos.
I'm quick. If anything's over 2 minutes, I'm like tapping out.
Yeah.
Or I'll fast forward, or I don't consume long form.
But your short form, is it typically from long form, or is it typically just made as a short form to
No,
begin with?
I think it's usually made. I always look, and if it's
No, but do you think that short video that you're consuming is being pulled from long form like this, or do you typically consume
Oh,
things that are just made
interesting.
to
Maybe.
be only short form?
Yeah, no, maybe it is being pulled. I never really concentrated on that. I guess I get sucked in by the hook, and then I watch the few minutes that I need to. Yeah, maybe
Yeah,
it is pulled out of a long form.
I think a lot of these great short form videos are being pulled from long form videos. So just like a short tweet is typically, we mentioned Lance earlier. Well,
Yeah,
where's he's pulling that from a long study, a monthly study from Case-Schiller, where somebody is writing in the long form. And then he's going and putting out a tweet summarizing it.
right,
Absolutely. More people are going to consume the tweet, but it has to start with the long form study. It has to start with the long form video to me to make a great short form video. So I'd encourage agents not to just see this and say, well, I'm going to can any type of long form strategy. How are you going to create great short form content?
right.
How are you going to, curate content that people are going to consume? It's by putting in the time and putting in the work. And a lot of that comes with some of this long form. And then the last one, I don't even know that we need to comment, but marketing in the metaverse,
Yeah, no,
Nicole.
no.
Nicole, were you marketing in the metaverse? Was that something you were going to do?
I was never in the metaverse. I think I put on my kids' Oculus goggles and I get a headache after I'm in it for a few minutes. So I'm not a metaverse lover or participator at all. No,
SBF right now, he's got just swaths of land in the metaverse. It's going at a discount. You can go buy it.
I'm certain of that. Yes. Yeah.
I think SBF had a very nice holiday getting flown back to mommy and daddy's in San Francisco. But yeah, I'd
Mhm.
agree. Marketing in the metaverse has died.
Yeah. Did it even start?
All right, let's do left, middle, right. We've got one trending topic here. The articles in politics that every agent and real estate entrepreneur should know about.
This one is from Fox Business. Workplace's new quiet quitting trend and the pitfalls for today's employees.
Yeah, quiet quitting has been a word that has gained steam, a phrase that is picking up in 2022 and into 2023. It's something I never heard before 2022, and you hear it all the time now. It's when a employee puts in the bare minimum. This has certainly become more relevant with remote work
For
becoming
sure.
more acceptable.
Hmm.
Here's where I think the tie into real estate agents comes. If you're hiring in 2023, you got to be real careful, okay? Because margins are going to tighten up in 2023. Your ability to predict month to month to month what type of profits you're going to have is going to get harder to do. All right. So if you're hiring, I'd caution anybody of hiring a W-2 remotely. Okay. And listen, this is coming from somebody with BAM who we basically have a fully remote company to some degree. Yeah. To really, it's, I would say primarily remote and W-2s inclusive as well as contractors. But remote work is a huge risk. And if you haven't, now, Nicole, we've had experience with the team with remote workers before the pandemic.
Right.
Okay. And certainly BAM was, hadn't started yet, but BAM has always been remote. And I've had a lot of experience with that. If you're just starting to hire, I'd caution you with hiring remote workers. It's not easy. And this is where a lot of this quiet quitting is going on for sure. I think if you were doing it physically, quiet quitting, you'd have to be in a really big company, big organization, a lot of numbers to kind of get away with it. But this is going to be harder as the job market tightens in 2023. And Jerome Powell has said the job market is going to tighten because some of the tools that they're using to fight inflation aren't working as quickly or as much as they would like, which means they're going to attack the job market. They're going to continue to attack housing. Okay. So, and listen, if somebody that's out there that is quiet quitting, people talk, people see that, and then you have to go out there on the job market and get rehired. I don't think that's going to work out long term for your career. So I definitely advise against that. But anybody in the real estate industry who's thinking about making a hire, I would only advise you to do virtual assistant because you don't have that, that type of. We've done a bunch of content on that. You can go search on BAM some of the virtual assistant training videos that we've done, but you don't have that level of commitment that you do with a W-2, on this remote work. So big risk. I wouldn't stop hiring. I think there's big opportunity to find great talent in 2023, but I'd be really careful about who I hire, how I hire in 2023. Nicole, that's it.
I agree. I love it.
Wrap.
Look at us. Happy New Year. Happy
New Year. Next week when we do the show, it will be a brand new year. I was digging into this over the weekend, the Swanepoel Trends Report, 18th edition.
Yeah.
Two things that stood out, maybe, and I think we cover this next week, Nicole.
I'm good with it. Were you giving everyone like a little
preview?
Yeah. I like it.
Trend number 10. Okay, so they did 10 trends this year. Evaluating real estate's compensation structure and its future. And it talks about in depth the DOJ and the FTC. One of these trials is going to happen in October of this year. Got pushed back to October. Fascinating breakdown of what's going on to me, with everything that's happening in real estate, the market, the conditions. If you really care about the industry, this is my biggest concern for 2023, how this all shakes out, because I believe by this time next year, we're going to have a lot of answers to some of these questions about how significant the class action suit in the Midwest is, how significant the DOJ investigations with their settlement with NAR that fell apart last year and where that's going to go. And Biden, we can get all into it all next week. Biden saying, hey, let's take a look at this. To me, those unanswered questions that some or many of which may get answered in 2023 is what I lose the most sleep, at night about when I think about the industry. It's like, how is this all going to shake out in 23? So I want to break that down. Some other good trends in here as well. What's that?
I said, I'm excited to hear about it. You always keep that book pretty, you hold it hostage.
I'll be, when I fly up to Connecticut next week, I'll be bringing it with me. So you can touch it if you want. I
appreciate that. I'll wear my gloves.
I have a virtual digital copy this year. I don't know if I can share that though. I don't think I can. Anyways, we'll get into that next week. Please, if you're enjoying this content, please consider subscribing to BAM, and we'll see you next week. Next year. Yeah.
See you guys. I hate when they say see you next year. And it's really tomorrow.
I just did it. Keep it real either way.
See you guys.